And this thing get behind us, and we ain't hiding out from no virus. We going and push on through until we link again. I know the deal done sign up. Make sure you had the drinks line up. The next round's on you. This thing get behind us. Make sure you have the drinks lined up. The next round's on you.
Music of the Dread Wizard, Sharlan Bailey. Now, the first time I spoke with Mr. Shaq, and he said, there's this fellow by the name of Sharlan Bailey, and he's the baddest thing. You need to hear what this man is about. So I want to get it from the words of the man himself. We're saying thank you so much for joining us, Sharlan. And I want you to start off by just giving us an idea of who is the Dread Wizard.
Well, Sharlan Bailey been a performer all my life, writing all my life. It just so happens that I'm the son of the late great Dr. Winston Bailey, the Shadow. You know, as a musician, a producer, a songwriter, I'm all about music.
So is there one aspect that you do a little more than others? Because some people may not know the work that you've put in on to some of the output from your father, possibly some other individuals. So what kind of degrees or percentages you put where?
When it comes to making music, I mean, I've worked with from Calypso, a lady, a lot of semi-finalists, more finalists. I work with Brigo, Bill Trotman, Rootsman, Duke, took artists wise like Doggy Sort. I moved with some of the islands with an artist from Antigua called Janine. You know, I did a lot of work music wise, and it's so much to come.
And I want to talk about this latest.
Well, as for my father though, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of work with my father. Like he had a humorous monarch winner, could have this, could have that, Naked Rhythm, what they come here for, our whole list.
And that makes me wonder about your creative process, because sometimes I hear something and I say, okay, well, that sounds a little bit like that. Or I hear another song and that sounds a little bit like that. So is it you giving him giving you? Is it that it's just that sound was just grown, so it's just there to be tapped into?
Well, when it comes to Winston Bailey work, you're in his studio with Winston Bailey as a translator. He is not a producer because you're working with a guy who coming in sure of what he wants to do. And evidence of this is when I watch his career, which spanned about 5 decades long. He sound consistent even though he worked with many different producers. So with Shadow, you're more of a translator to get this idea of this gentleman head on the format of MP3. Whereas most others I work with, I mean, sometimes I do complete writing. I hardly do writing with folk because all the music just comes from me. It just comes.
And that makes me want to ask about you in terms of like when you're creating music for yourself, because just scrolling through some of your posts, and you were saying the rain was different today. And then you answer, for real, I get carried away. And it seems as though there's a song waiting on that to come out. So what about your music? Do you need to translate for yourself, or how does that happen?
Well, I consider myself a vessel. I don't write no song. A song does write itself. You know, when it comes to music, I'll just be walking around and it could be a melody, sometimes it's a hook, sometimes I might be strumming a guitar idea. I don't have no particular way this come, but life is music and life is stories now. So once you're living, it always have a story to tell. It's just you as the writer had to tap in sometimes, you know, to develop that story.
And that brings us to the piece that we opened this conversation with, because I wouldn't tell no liar. I look at that and I feel a little emotional because it hit different in this time. It's like when we link again, because there's so many people, you need to reach out to them remotely. They might be right there, but at the same time, you say, okay, well, we need to social distance. And so what are some of the things that went into you creating that piece?
Well, that piece, that actually happened more many house, you know, within the start of the quarantine, you know, I studied the situation, precautions we have to take. And these things that manifest, where I was hearing this line over and over, we're not gonna link in a long while. until this thing goes away over and over and over. And one morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I sit down outside with the guitar, and then boom, the verse that I write itself, the chorus that I write itself, and it becomes something I really want to say to Trinidad and Tobago now, because one of the things with the situation of the COVID is that it challenged touch, that communication that we have, that I mean only we have. Share and express, don't worry, they go have that time again, and we go link again. That's that. That's the time.
I wouldn't want to be one of your parties linking up with you with the way, because that bill might be a little expensive when you say the next round is on you. But in terms of listening though, serious thing, you laughing. But in terms of listening though, because you call yourself a vessel, you call yourself a translator when you're dealing with your father's music. How important in this time do you think it is that people are able to listen, become vessels, and listen to those still small voices while we're still kind of hidden away?
Well, it will happen, once the song put out there, it go happen, because I mean, music always been affecting the world since the beginning of time, and that is why in this time as creators, we need to share that joy, because it's a tough time and everybody feeling it. So sometimes that little melody with a little line or two that can make you smile, a little bass line and drum bongs that can make you dance. It is a really important factor, because I mean, even when you check the history of the world, no matter what disaster have happened in the world, there's always a piece of music that is carry rich.
And that's one of the things in terms of, like, we also have Coffee out of Jamaica saying when the quarantine thing done and everybody touch road. But there's something, and it makes you wonder sometimes the value that people place on different things, and who's essential workers and who not essential workers. But at the same time, having our artists and players of instruments really being the ones that inspire us and have us putting one foot in front of the other. But I'll ask you, what is the day-to-day at this point in time?
Well, me, the worst thing could happen to me is put me in a quarantine, because every day is a song, every day I'm building a beat, every day something coming. I mean, I recently started doing some work with some other artists, because creativity don't stop. I mean, work could stop, things could stop, but music gotta live, and every day is something new, actually, I pick back up my harmonica again, I started touch things that are, I think I rest down a long while, pick up a pencil or two, that I hardly write, mostly everything is coming through my head.
So is it a matter of saying, okay, well, I have a word first, or I have a melody first, using different instruments, do you get different vibrations? Because I remember seeing you in some conversation, you're saying that you picked up your father's guitar, and you start to get a vibration, an energy, and that sent you down a particular road, so there was some output on that. So what do you get that spark from, or is there something that you go to do that?
No, man, there ain't much for me. When it comes to making music, I think what we just miss when it comes to writing, because this make writing look like a difficult process. Writing is really more expressing yourself now. And me, once I do the thing where I get in my head, where most people who know me go tell you he just talk himself, or my brain just shut down and I'm not here. Any kind of form of solitude, for me, does inspire or spark a lot of things, and it's not necessarily with the guitar. Sometimes, but most times I write in my head. So, because the situation is, ideas that come so quick that the time it will take me to get up and look for an instrument sometimes become too much, because the fact is I don't write it down. So I was just sit in the moment and just receive. So it didn't really have a special thing to say, well, I just pick up the guitar and write, or I just pick up the keyboard and write. It could manifest in all different forms and fashion. That's why I say as a vessel. So whatever, it could be so I'm picking a line. Most times it's just be an idea or a line on to me. Every morning you get up and just hearing it repeating until I let it out.
If your dad,
it's not the bassman in my head.
I'm not gonna say if your dad version was Pharrell, what's the name of your tenant? But at the same time, I use your words and say this place dread. Want to cool my head, or want to clear my head. So we take a little break, we come back, we're speaking with Sharlan Bailey. Stay with us.
It's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard. Bound to be hard for me. Bound to be hard. A man told me I resemble my father bad, and all my movements and actions just remind him of my dad. But he also said that I not getting through. Your father face and the music, good luck for you. People will run to you and gladly let you know you're the legacy of your dad shadow, and they will see him in everything I do. You ain't know what they're saying, let me explain it to you. You resemble a man that here in basement, judges the street them fellas like spacemen.
And judges just treat them fellas like spacemen. You imagine somebody sing a song where the chorus is the problem is your face, boy? We're speaking with Sharlan Bailey, with the son of Dr. Winston Bailey, the Shadow. And do you consider that a blessing or a curse? How do you treat with it? Because to be in the shadow, that's a real big shadow, Sharlan.
Wow, yeah, because as I was telling people, it's like having a size 9 foot and trying to fit in a size 13 shoe. You know? You have a father who, when you check the body at work, I mean, there's nothing, it's a very hard thing to come after. I think the problem I suffer from is that since I know myself, I always pride myself as an individual, always understanding that I have this song that I want to do, I have this style I want to do, and always been searching for my own path. I mean, I had plenty of that from my father. He didn't pick up that I had the ability until late in life, you know. But you know, always writing. I always remember writing verses of 8, picking up a guitar here and there, you know. But it's tough to be shadow son, especially when they watch your face. They're not seeing you too much, you know. They're seeing him.
Definitely, and I get that. But there's some things in terms of like the music. So like Shadow Sun, that song that you did, I hear a piece of soca boat in that. I could be wrong.
Well, I think the line, the hooks and music do that, you know? Because actually did you see Winston Bailey actually heard that piece of arrangement before he passed? And I remember well done state. I think it's the understanding and the use of his technique is what people hear in the song that connected to soca boat. You know, because at the end of the day, I can't deny the fact that I'm a disciple of the man. You know, but it took plenty years before I could recognize the greatness that my father was, you know, in sense of musician, writer, poet, you know. So when I do catch on to that, it was a whole different experience that might have kind of changed my style. But my style is really me, you know. But at the end of the day, I Winston Bailey son.
And one of the things I look at with regard to parents and children who get into the same line of business. So we have all these individuals who are the children of Bob Marley. And on one instance, you see them celebrated. The song of the father, oh gosh, it's nice. But in Trinidad and Tobago, it seems as though there's a slightly different take on that. Do you take on the people with regard to that kind of feedback? But I find your songing too much like your father, as opposed to, okay, well, this is something that I definitely want to try to dive away from before you come to the understanding that I am who I am and my father is who he is. How do you treat with that?
I think in the past couple of years, I learned to accept it because believe you me, anybody who know me can know how hard I fight that. And there's different aspects of Sharlan Bailey because there's Sharlan Bailey the Calypsonian, there's Sharlan Bailey the rap so artist, there's Sharlan Bailey. I do already say I just do one thing, I just do music now. But in that expression, it is be hard when to accept you when they want to hear you, but give you something like your father. But in the situation of like, you know, sound like your father, I come to terms with the fact that me and brother Valentino child, I can't change that. I can put on pink and shave my face, I still ain't gonna be Lord Nelson's son. You know, according to the late Winston Bailey, he used to tell me that you great, you know. You just hiding yourself. You need to let people see how great you is. And if they feel that they want to fight you, fight them back with music.
And in fighting them back with music, what is happening on November 11?
November 11. Well, actually, what happened on November 11 was supposed to happen October 23rd. But due to the situation and some circumstances unforeseen, we're taking a tribute show to Dr. Winston Bailey, celebrating the mysticism and the madness of shadow. And that's a show called Shadowology, happening at the Kaiso Cafe Blues and stream with WAC 90.1. Yes.
So, what will people be getting when they tune in? Is it you? Is it the music of your father? Is it a mixture? What can people expect?
Well, the show is really a tribute to the life of Winston Bailey. It's something I want to do annually. We started last year right in Cafe Blues. We did a more of a gathering situation. This year, I wanted to take it up by doing music because eventually I want to do a Sharlan Bailey show. But the 11 wouldn't be Sharlan Bailey. It may be Winston Bailey, the shadow, where I think I'll be kind of stripping down the music into a kind of raw form, a little heavy acoustic vibes, not full on just acoustic, but heavy acoustic vibe. And you will get to enjoy the music from a place in the sense of how it was written before the horns, before the set of fancy arrangements and the jump up and the drums, you know? And to hear him in a different line, not just the petty music, but to hear the philosopher he was, to hear the genius that he could be, I mean, and the influence he had musically.
You have a favorite one? Favorite song from your father?
Beg your pardon, I never said.
Do you have a favorite song, a favorite shadow song? Or is it like any set that you're going to do in tribute, this one have to play?
Nah, boy, that's a hard question you asked me there. Yeah. The man whole catalog is hits. Yeah. But I think I don't have a particular song that I have to do. But there's a particular song that has touched me because of what it says now. And that song is the hardest. You know, I mean, I really love King from Hell, and Ladder of Success is like a mantra. But hardest says something in the opening lines that, I mean, I think that is me now. My aim is high, close to the sky. I cannot fly, but I have to try.
And that's good lyrics for this time, in terms of just making sure that we go forward and go through. And I'm like one of the ones that I really enjoy with my children is actually Hop Rabbit Hop. And we use that to tell a story. Because and I think one of the things is that it may seem simplistic, but when you really dive down and unpack is music and a message for times that dread.
That is Winston Bailey's science, you know. Winston Bailey's science is Winston Bailey has the ability to tell a whole story with 2 lines. You know, I once tell him that he's the master of an opening line. When you check his music, the opening lines of the song alone just become the song. Like, for instance, for years to come, people always ask him, so when you go and plant peas in Jamaica Shadow? Just because of that 2 lines, where he tell the world that I was fed up and going and be a farmer, but I changed my mind and come back.
And it distilled like punching. And like punching, it's called punching the truth. So I guess that's also a good analogy there. But Sharlan, we want to thank you so much for being a part of this. And on behalf of the entire news team, I'm DK Ronster. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.